Hi everyone, welcome to the podcast. We have a very special guest for you today. We have with us international life coach Mrs. Katerina Folkman. She is a life coach who has trained over 25,000 individuals over a lifetime. She is very experienced, and in this episode, we discuss with her some of the most pertinent issues that we all face in our daily life. We've spoken about navigating anger, navigating breakups, relationship issues, developing self confidence, self love. We've also spoken about how we can control our anxiety, how we can control our mind, and much, much more in this episode. It's sure to change your life, so make sure that you watch till the end. Hey, Kat, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Karan, I'm so excited. I was waiting for this moment.
Likewise, it's an absolute pleasure, and there's so many topics that I'd like to discuss with you today. And the first thing I wanted to discuss was relating to our careers. I feel like a lot of people, firstly, don't spend time into understanding who they are, and even if they know who they are really afraid to be who they are. So you are someone who has left a high-paying corporate job and you followed your passion, and today you're making even more money. But if there is someone who's watching this podcast today and is scared of failing or scared of following their passion and being who they are, what is your advice to them?
It's very interesting to think about what they're scared of. What is there to be scared of? And usually people are concerned that maybe if I follow my passion, I'm not going to get paid so well, or it's not going to be enough of safety and stability, right? So it brings us to some fundamental, misunderstanding. People think they can make more money following somebody else's step. Like, okay, IT has a scope, so let's all go to IT or let's switch to marketing. And the biggest law of money, right? That money comes when you give something to this world, right? You give something. Then the world is saying, thank you very much. Here's back to you. And the better you give, the more you're going to get, because you give something unique, valuable, that people who represent this world, they're going to say, wow, fantastic, amazing singer, artist, right? So because you're doing what you like, and that's what's so wonderful. If you do something what you don't like, you become mediocre. You become like everybody else. You are like this replaceable. People can replace you. And that's what people say, lack of financial freedom. That I don't tell my boss I need to take 5 days vacation. My boss will say no. And if I say something, he will, replace me with somebody else because you are replaceable. If you are Karan and I'm Katrina, I'm not replaceable. Nobody can take my spot because I'm giving something that I love to give, and I'm obviously very good in, and that's where money is. So I think for young people, it's just very difficult to break this fear, right? Fear. And that fear comes from essentially a lack of trust to this world, right? People don't trust that life is on their side, that life is for you, life is created for you. We are here for some kind of game to play, right? We are spiritual people. You believe reincarnations, right? It's not the first one, it's not the last one. We come here temporarily, we come here to learn, we come here to play a game. But people forget and take it so seriously. They just cling on every kind of promise of safety, stability as the highest value, and continue the whole life to retirement. Say, retirement, that finally I can stop doing this stupid job and start living my life. And but
No, that's what, like you said, people reach their retirement and that's when they realize, shit, I lost the time that I had to live my life and now it's too late. And they don't realize that we spend almost 90,000 hours of our lifetime just working. And
amazing.
someone that I've in fact been very inspired by is Mr. Naval Ravikant. And in his talks, he's also explained that if you choose to follow something that's your passion, you can put in way too many hours into it without feeling like you're working. I saw an interview of yours also where you said you aren't really working because this is something that you love doing. And when you can put in that much effort, you're automatically better than anyone else who's doing it as a job. So that's why, that's your competitive edge and that's how you make more money. So what you said is so right and it's so important for the youth to understand this. So thank you for pointing that out. I think people also need to overcome the fear of failure. They're so scared that if I go and follow my passion, it may not work out. And what will people say? But it doesn't matter. People are going to talk about you anyway.
Of course, and you absolutely are going to fail, of course, many times. It's part of the game, right? But you're going to fail and move to higher level after you succeed. And that next level, you're also going to see challenges, obstacles like video game. It's just more fun to keep moving higher and higher to new levels. And in these new levels, you're going to lose your life multiple times, fail, make mistakes, start all over. Just, I think if we can see the whole fun in this. So that's fun to have. It's fun to have something to solve. Then everything gets a different perspective.
Like, actually, what you said is so brilliant, because the moment you start seeing life as a game, the highs and the lows both stop impacting you too much. And you're taking it as life as a game, and you're just realizing that it's all about just growth and going one step higher, as you said.
I forgot who was it, but brilliantly said that life is a game. It doesn't mean that we should sit on the back bench and see how other people play. Of course, we'll jump in. We also want to kick this ball, but we should take it too seriously. We engage in the game, but we don't forget that it's still a game and it's going to end.
It's so important to play the game, like you said, because the ships aren't made to stay at the harbor, right? They're made to sail. So you have to play the game and you have to live life and not be so fearful. Another aspect I feel where my generation, and I think especially the millennials and the Gen Zs, are kind of facing failure and are kind of struggling with our relationships. And I feel like in today's times with dating apps, with social media, it's become really easy to meet new people. But at the same time, because everyone now has so many options, it's become really difficult to find something long term and stable. So, for those struggling with this, do you have any advice as to what they should look for in a partner before getting into a relationship?
Your partner always going to be a reflection of who you are from inside. Correct? People are kind of mirrors, right? Life is bringing us somebody who will highlight to us exactly who we are. And you can break up with many. If nothing changes here, then people who want to, they will be exactly the same or worse. So, and that, what I feel, I'm sure even younger people can ask themselves this question. What am I looking for? Why? What kind of hole in my heart I'm trying to fulfill with that partner? What this partner is going to do in my life? Am I not happy by myself? Something is missing. What am I looking for? Do I look for somebody who is going to unconditionally approve of everything what I do? Or, for example, support me. Ladies especially like to say, I need somebody who will emotionally support me, right, Karan? And, that is a wrong expectation from the beginning. It's much safer to find this support inside yourself. Learn to respect and support yourself to start with. Become a bit more kind of independent in the sense you're not emotionally dependent on your parents. You're not emotionally dependent on your partner. You have yourself, no matter what, no matter where you are, what is situations life is going to put you, you have yourself, and that is truth, right? You have yourself. God will take that. Then, at this point of maturity, the partner who is going to be attracted to you will be attracted for the same reason, that he is also has support inside himself. If we start too early when we are looking for something to fill our gaps, and he is also looking to fill his gaps. It's like two broken hearts kind of clinging on each other, and that's drama. That's drama, that's Bollywood, that's Hollywood. I cannot live without you. I'm going to die without you. There's romantic things, like thanks to movies, thanks to books, romantic kind of feeling. It's nothing else but just two incomplete people trying to find this completeness through somebody else. And that is always drama. It's always disappointment. I think it's simply take a step back. Look, I am wonderful without you. But of course, together is more fun. Of course, when I find my partner, it's twice more fun. It's fantastic, but he doesn't need me. He wants me. I don't need him. I want him. So from there, it becomes a bit healthier.
Absolutely, you've explained this beautifully. It's actually opened up my mind as well. And it's because this is something that most people don't realize. We are looking for partners that can fill in voids that we have. And when you do that, when someone else is filling a void in you, then you're always dependent on them. And that's when it leads to like a toxic relationship. But when you're with someone just for like companionship, for fun, that's when a beautiful relationship can actually come about. So that's so beautifully explained. But another downside that I think people are really struggling with is that because they get so attached and so dependent, and maybe it ties in with what you said where they aren't independent, they're not being able to cope with heartbreaks well at all. People are taking years sometimes to move on, and they make a complete mess out of it. Especially in our generation, what's happening is that people, a new term has come in which is called situationships, which is troubling a lot of people in our generation, where people are together, they behave exactly like partners, but they refuse to give it a name, they refuse to commit to each other. And just by being in this, people go through major heartbreaks. So if someone's going through something like that, how do they come out of a bad breakup?
See, for the same reason, right? They are scared to make a mistake. What if I commit to somebody and he's not the best, possible for me in this whole world? So I will keep searching. I will leave this partner, but I'm still having doubts. It's exactly like this business. I'm too scared to resign from my job and jump and take this risk. Here also, they're afraid to jump because they don't trust this world. Like, life is on your side. What are you scared of? Sure, no relationship will have ups and downs, but if you believe this is your person, you work through this. We work through a lot of things like partners, and it's actually fun. Maybe, Karan, maybe it's expectation of easiness in life, right? For your generation, for my generation, people want something easy. God, mistake we make, then it's so bad. We're going to be brokenhearted if you make a mistake. So, little bit playing this game again too seriously. And what do you?
Yeah, pushing yourself outside the comfort zone, like you said, because people are sometimes so used to a certain partner that even the toxicity is something that they're habituated with. But
Yeah,
the moment they have to tread into waters that are unknown, they are really scared. So they don't want to
yes,
take that leap and move out. Yeah.
yes. It's been so much research done on victim mentality. It's called victimology. How people live in the worst abusive situations and still not able to resign or not able to take a break because they're afraid of change. Victim mentality is essentially, I'm scared to change. I will do everything, but not to change. It's a biological quality of the brain, right? Let's do anything, master, but let's not do any changes. Brain wants to survive, and survival means no changes. Change is very scary for our brain. So maybe that's what when we don't follow our heart, and we just follow that brain that tells you safety, stability, no changes, that results in that suddenly, because remember we said life is on your side, life likes you, say universe, God, life, somebody likes you, loves you. So if she is so scared to change, life is thinking, let me help her, let me take this boy out of her life, let me take this support out of her life. So she finally has to depend on herself after all these heartbreaks. And same for boys, let me take this girl away. So he will have to grow up and mature all by himself. Heartbreak, it's just one extra challenge in your video game to solve.
That's true. That's true. I think if you take these difficult times as a message from the universe for you to grow and come out of your comfort zone, I think then it doesn't bog you down as much as well. You're like, okay, now this is the universe is telling me, and these are the signs. Now I better push myself out of the comfort zone. So that's so right. Another thing is that we all have good qualities, we all have bad qualities. I think you refer to it as the light side and the dark side that every person has, and I found it so fascinating because when I heard you speak about it, I realized that I too myself have always struggled to face my own dark side. When I have to
Yeah.
admit my own light side, I'll be like, yeah, that's true. I have these good qualities, but the dark side starts and I block it out because no one wants to accept their bad qualities, right? But I realize that if I don't do that, I'm actually not growing as a person. I'm not becoming a better person. So for someone who wants to actively understand their dark side, what can they do?
So every quality has, like you said, duality. Every quality of your character can be manifested or used in life in such a way that it's positive for people, for this world, and negative, right? So nothing really good or bad. Like, let's say you have gigantic imagination. You can manifest it as writing some books and songs and creating some Narnia, something amazing that people say crazy. Yeah, wow. Or you can become a crazy liar, lie to your wife, lie to your children, right? It is also imagination. It's just how you use your quality. So the quality itself is neutral. And I think light and dark means that some qualities that we know and we like it because before, when we show them, people say, wow, this is very good. It's very good that you're so attentive, so kind, so good, right? So we're like, okay, this part I will show. My imagination, when I was showing my imagination, my mom said, you're a liar. You don't say that, it didn't exist, you are lying here. So I start suppressing this. And then my shadow. But you can take things out of your shadow and use it for something positive. It doesn't mean that your shadow will bring you to just, I don't know, rob the bank or become some abuser. You can use it positively. The quality is neutral. And to explore it, it's always through people. Whoever is most annoying, triggering person for you, ask yourself why, what exactly in that person is so bad, so annoying. Like maybe some blogger, maybe some celebrity, maybe some politician. What exactly bothers you about that person? Because quite a lot of people you don't care. And some of them you like, some of them you admire, and some are triggering for you. Those triggering, they show you your shadow side. It's like your shadow side gets like attached to there. But again, you can see that, let's say, politician is lying, and you're so triggered. No, obviously he's a liar. I don't know why again, why people cannot replace him. Take it. Oh, maybe I'm also a liar, but use it creatively. Maybe liar is the negative manifestation of the same quality. And I am going to be writer of children's books because I have this quality, right? And so observe who is triggering you badly. This is the shadow side. There is also golden shadow. Golden shadow is those people you admire. You think, well, how amazing is this director of these movies? How creative he is. I'm not like this, but he is. It's my favorite. I admire him. It means you are also the same. You have this quality. That's why you're so attached to some people, some bloggers. It is also you. Golden shadow means it's a great quality that you are not aware of. So check.
Yeah. That's such a intelligent way of actually exploring yourself through others. It's brilliant.
Around us, always the mirrors.
And I love the way you explain how when you also realize your dark side,
Mhm.
instead of fighting it, you can also channelize it in the right way. Like you said that, if someone wants to lie, has a habit of lying, they can channelize it in the form of writing or maybe acting, and that's a positive way of channelizing your own negative side. But when do you know you need to either accept a bad quality in you, and when do you know now I need to overcome this and change this about myself?
Yeah, so you accept the quality, you accept your ingredient. I am made of this. This is my recipe. I have a little bit of imagination. Like, look, for example, anger. Anger is not, it's a negative manifestation of the same quality of, high energy, ability to get things done fast. Like, I'm not going to sit here and wait. I'm just like, hustle, I will do something about it. So the same fire inside can be used to be more active, achieve more in life. But if you're not using it, it's boiling inside you and comes out as anger, some volcano of anger, some explosive things. So again, the quality itself is neutral and we need to accept it. Look, this is me. This is how I'm made of. Let me explore it. And yes, I see that right now, a couple of my qualities show itself in such a way that I don't like it. It's not helping me to grow. It's not helping me to live. I'm paying some price for being a liar and being angry person. If I realize this price, I can make a decision. And this decision made like seconds. It doesn't need some years of therapy to convert you into some different person. All this is like, it's very not effective. All this kind of old school approach. Let's sit for 5 years with some therapist to show person, like how I work with people as a mentor. We do it in 1 hour. We discuss what is the downside of keeping your bad decisions or bad qualities, what kind of things you are missing out, what is the price you pay. And person by himself, by herself saying, look, I don't want it, I'm done. I made a decision right here. I'm not going to be like this anymore. Done.
The flip side to this, though, is when you spoke about golden shadow, when people realize that, oh, for example, I'm really good looking, or for example, I'm really XYZ good quality, one can also get arrogant about
Sure.
if they accept their good qualities also. So, how do you stay grounded through all this?
Sure, absolutely. That again, you take some positive quality, but you manifest it in a negative way. How to keep yourself grounded? Look, you become more mindful, what we call mindfulness, absorbing. What am I doing here? Am I like showing off here? Do I like arguing with people? Am I like trying to show I'm the smartest one here? Observing with a bit of a smile, right? Forgiving yourself, observing and changing. Because it's not, again, it's not good for me to be arrogant. It's not going to help me to build relationships, to grow. So that inner observer, that's very important to stay grounded, right? And this is quality like, sometimes it comes through even meditations. Like seriously, I know it's very difficult to get started with all these meditations, but when you fight your thoughts during these 15 minutes of meditation, your thoughts, control of your thoughts becomes stronger. So during the day, you have a better chance to notice, oh, Karan, you're here showing off a bit too much, right? And you're like, okay, let me control this a little bit. So create your inner observer inside.
And is meditation the best tool to do that, to create that internal observer?
So many exercises, like we do sometimes alarm clock every half an hour to catch, what am I thinking about? What am I doing? Because it's not only about your negative qualities. Sometimes we think too much about things that beyond our control. We get into anxieties, and the next thing you know, a couple of hours passed, and you keep thinking about something that you can never change, or you cannot even know how it is going to go. So this half an hour alarm clock helps you to like, oh, okay, alarm is coming. What am I thinking about? Seriously, for 2 hours, I have this fear. I keep thinking about it. It's a waste of my time. So this approach, it really helps to have what we have, different clubs, communities, right? When people like you talk about these things and you understand I'm not alone. I was growing my whole life through my mentors. I always had a lot of mentors, some of them free, some of them paid. Now I still have a couple of very, very expensive mentors. And mentor can show you what you cannot see. It's so obvious when like you would look at me, you will notice, Kat, no, you're not doing well. I can look at you. So that mentor is like a view, alternative viewpoint from the side that shows you your blind spots. And that is also a huge thing. I think it's very, very good to grow faster. Grow means that you remove your negative qualities and increase your positive ones. You become bigger person. You expand. You become. You play at different level. You play this game at next level, and that is actually where money is. Because if you expand as a person, you have bigger capacity to handle money. Money can come to you, and you're able to control.
Yeah, no, it's so important. And I wanted to go a bit deeper into, how you spoke about anxiety and, how meditation can help with it. But in today's times, when we have our smartphone, it's become, I feel, like an extension of our body. And what people are unfortunately using this for now is they are using it as an escape mechanism. The moment they get an anxious thought, they start using their phone. The moment they are awkward in a public space, they'll start using their phone. They're running away from their problems and their thoughts through social media and through mobile phones. But if someone doesn't know how the mind works, how thoughts can really take over their emotions and then lead to behavior, if someone's been triggered by a negative thought in their mind, what is the right way to process it and not let it take over them?
It takes you a little bit of effort to kind of to wake up. Sometimes it comes from some great YouTube video, some great book, some great friend, to take you, to give you a different perspective, to ask you, what are you doing with your life? Why are you living asleep? When you wake up, watch your phone, go to office, watch Netflix, go to sleep, fall in love with some girl, fall in love with some boy, have friends, have kids, but you are not kind of, it's like a sleep, right? You're living inside a dream. You're not waking up and saying, what the hell I'm doing with my life? What is the purpose? What is my vision? Where I want to go? How I want to grow? What do I need to do for this today? And this moment of start, like you start waking up a little bit, you start taking a little bit more control of your thoughts and what are you doing during the day. Next time you take your phone out of habit, you scroll a couple of reels and you realize, look, I'm just wasting my time. Like essentially I'm dying here, right? When I'm not living, I'm dying. And living this life asleep, it's the same as dying because you're not moving anywhere. Next thing you know, 20 years passed and you're just a little bit older and your kids grown up and you're in exactly the same place. You're like 6 years older and you're still in the same place. What's the difference? It's like same as dying. So it comes in different time. I think all of us will have this moment when somebody just wakes you up. And before that, what can we recommend? We can say all the smart things that it's not good for you, but people don't care. It's fun, right? They're like children, essentially. Like takes time to grow up. Life is helping. Life helps. People receive that slap in the face. Some people grow up after losing a parent or going through breakup, getting fired. Like all this loving slaps from life who loves you, trying to help you to wake up.
Absolutely. I think because the more you ignore a problem, it doesn't disappear. It's still there. And the more you ignore it, like you said, life starts slapping you to remind you that face your issues, face your problem, and come out of it. Something that has worked with me, especially when it comes to negative thoughts, and you tell me what you think about it and if it can actually help people. When I get a negative thought, I initially will try and compartmentalize it. I'll check whether first it's a rational thought or an irrational thought. If it's an irrational thought, automatically that negative thought loses its power. But when it is a rational concern, it's a rational issue, I further try and compartmentalize it into, is this problem in my control or is this out of my control? And if it's out of my control, I will leave it to fate and hope for the best. But if it is in my control, then it's simple. You do something to solve it. So I think that is something that has really helped me control my overthinking. But are there any other strategies to like cater to overthinking and
it's like figure it out what you can control. Positive or negative, doesn't matter. Don't waste your time thinking about things that you cannot control. And that's usually quite a lot of things outside of you. What you can control for sure is your mental state, your thoughts. Yeah, you can control that. You cannot control your people around you. You cannot control external situations. Look, so many people during COVID, they thought I have stable job, they got fired. Like you cannot control even having salaried job or non-salaried job. So what we call it playing God. You play God when you think that you control it, and you can't. So you described it very well. See what is rational concern that you can control, then get up and do something and change it. Don't sit here thinking, should I do it? Should I not do it? People also waste a lot of time on this point of decision. Yes. So if it is yours, then get up and change it and stop thinking about it. If it's not yours, then definitely stop thinking about it and trust this world, trust this life. It is for you anyways, even if you don't understand how this horrible situation it is for me, you don't understand. But when we look back into our past, we can see it very clearly. The most difficult moment was actually fantastic for me.
Absolutely, it's so important for people to understand this so that they can get out of the overthinking and anxiety loops that they're stuck in. And something connected to this that I have seen, it's happened to me as well, and it's happened to almost everyone I know around, is that we all are different, and that's what actually makes us unique and beautiful. But sometimes that different is not matching societal norms. So for example, someone's overweight, someone is dark skinned, someone is, we are different in multiple ways, and society never fails to remind you of how you're different, and it will constantly keep pointing it out to you. And what people do is they get into this overthinking loop, and they make that one insecurity really big in their head, and that becomes their entire identity. They, instead of identifying as them, themselves as a whole, where they're just one quality in them is being overweight, their
Mhm.
entire identity becomes of, oh, I'm a fat person, so everything I do has to be according to what a fat person is expected to do. So I shouldn't be dancing, I should dress a certain way. How can one deal with insecurities where they are being judged by others for the same, but they don't want to judge themselves, they want to develop self-love? How can you practically do that?
Of course, I understand. It's when people associate themselves with this person, like Katerina Folkman. I'm not Katerina. I am, look, you can say some brave traveler in space, in spiritual realms, who took this suit of Katrina temporary for like 100 years, maybe, if I'm lucky, right? So whatever attributes Katrina has, it is actually not me. So I am just owner of this wonderful suit that has certain color, certain accent, certain size, bigger or smaller in different ways. Some people like it, some people don't like it. But dissociation, detachment, that self is here, that observer, playing the game, using that wonderful suit that we got for some reason, and thinking about why life gave me, why I chose, my soul chose a suit of, for example, overweight person for some reason. So I can play the game where being a little bit bigger is important. Maybe I'm supposed to be prominent, noticeable. Maybe I'm supposed to break some beliefs of society by, struggling with that acceptance. And coming out of this and helping hundreds of people with that, right? Writing some books about it. Maybe that's the purpose. This suit is given for some purpose, dark or bright, doesn't matter. So understanding that, number one, this is not me. Number two, because of that, I like it and I appreciate it. Thank you, dear body, or thank you, dear brain, for being exactly like you are. So that's, I guess, what we call self-love, acceptance that for this lifetime, I took this suit. If I can change something, if I can become smarter, if I can become more, maybe stronger, like I want to develop more muscles, I'm going to gym. Okay, yeah, of course, because I like it. It's interesting to change a little bit my suit, upgrade it a little bit. But certain things will be always like that with me. And I take it as a part of the game that then it's important for me to speak with this accent. So many people will notice or remember with my digital signature that nobody can copy that. Who knows? Acceptance of yourself, surrender to yourself. You have power. Yes,
So
you have
beautifully
certain.
said, yeah. So beautifully said, as both the points are so pertinent, because the first one, realizing that you're focusing on the soul that you are instead of just the body that you're in. And the second point as well, every situation can change basis how you perceive it. So if you change the perception, that's how self-love can happen. Such a beautiful way of looking at things. Um, when we are surrounded by things that trigger us, now that can be because, how you mentioned, it can be us facing our own dark side. But if in the moment we are seeing a trigger and it's something that's really infuriating me, I really want to lash out at the person, but I know that if I do that, I will end up saying things or behaving in a certain way which I will regret later. In the moment of anger, are there any actionable steps that one can take to control anger and in the long run become a calmer person?
comes with practice, but let's think about structure of every person, of you and that person who is triggering you. Inside, there is a core, we call it soul or heart. He also has it. And his soul is very similar to yours. Most likely, like best buddies somewhere. But on the surface, we have a bunch of programs, like what we call program. Uh, belief, fear, believe that this is like that, I'm just a person like that, I'm just like emotional, I'm just like cannot focus. So a bunch of programs we put like layer. And he also has his layers and his programs. And usually his program starts some fight. It's like, two cobras. He's coming and yours is coming. And these two cobras like facing each other, like fighting. It's his program fighting your program. Take some effort to step back again. I'm not my cobra. I'm not my body. I'm not my cobra. I'm just observer here. Oh, so interesting. My program of like being triggered by something is fighting his program. I know it's very difficult in the moment. You get so deep into this. But with some practice, and again, if you think about it quite often and you talk about it with your friends, in this moment of fight, this kind of infuriation becomes shorter. You are able to notice it slightly faster. Oh, it is my trigger. Why am I triggered by this? What is it trying to show me? Something about me. Like I used to be triggered by people, for example, who like behave a bit lazy, let's say in the office, right? Oh, I'm working so hard, I'm doing so many meetings, so many calls, and somebody's just drinking chai in cafe. And I thought, no, why am I triggered by this? It's a different person. Let him drink his chai. It's not my problem. And I realized because it shows me that I need to take a rest. I need to chill. I'm doing too much. I'm taking too much on me. So that anger at that person was triggered because he allowed himself something that I don't allow to me, to myself. So when you realize it, you suddenly have a lot of love to these people who trigger you. It's like gratitude. No, thank you for showing me this. Yeah, I'm not perfect myself. I'm not some perfection, not Miss Perfection here. That is my trigger because I also have my program. So it's not me triggered, it's not my soul is triggered, it's some program switched on by his behavior. What is that? Let's explore, let's think about.
That's so smart in a way because even in that moment, even in a moment of anger, you can find a way to find growth for yourself. So I can see how it can control your anger and in the process help you improve yourself also.
Best way to control is just to notice that this fight. I also have this cobra. It's not like he is a bad person and I'm just a wonderful angel here. No, of course not. It's not poking you. It pokes when it's like skin. If you touch me here and I have no problems here, I will not. I'm saying okay, no problem, touch. But if I have a wound here, like open wound, then even if you touch slightly, it hurts so much. So that's where people touch us accidentally and trigger what we call trigger. It's when already it's hurting already. It's not okay with me. So what is that? What is hurting me?
That's true. That's so important to do actually. Um, Kat, I wanted to get into another side of your life. We know that you're this life coach and very successful life coach, but you're also a parent, and I believe that you've had varied experiences of studying in Russia, then in Canada, and now you're raising a daughter in India. I wanted to know about your take on the Indian education system, and I also believe that you also homeschool your daughter for a while because that's something that we also are doing to with my nephew in our home because it feels like rote learning in India is really promoted, but practical knowledge is not being given to children. So, what has your experience been like with homeschooling, and what should parents especially do beyond traditional schooling in India to ensure that their children are being raised in the right manner?
Wonderful question. So, you know how every child has some spark. My main concern with schools used to be that I don't want school to finish that spark too early, right? Because at some point it's okay to start schooling. Like right now we started. I will say, I will tell you what kind of school we selected and why. But before, when she was too small, I was concerned that she has quite unique spark, as every child, some strength, some weaknesses. And in school, usually what is happening that teachers focus on the weakness, right? And try to kind of suppress a little bit of that spark instead of allowing it to grow. And that's the recipe for mediocrity, right? If you have, here is I'm bad, here I'm good. So let's focus on where you are good. So it will grow fantastic. And this is okay. It will like if I don't like math, I never like math. But I'm fantastic in like Greek language. So let me hire tutors, or let me teach my daughter in Greek, for example, or in sports. So she becomes great. In school, usually in traditional education, they like, this is okay, this is not okay. Let's put all attention here. So it becomes a little bit average, and this becomes average. So the result is mediocrity. So that was my main reason for really unschooling. It's not even homeschool. It was pure unschooling. It means freedom. When I was giving her books or math as a reward, like she knows that I'm working quite a lot. Let's say she's 5 years old, and she quickly realized the only way to get mom to spend time with me is to say, Mom, I want to do some math. Mom, give me some puzzles. Mom, give me some book. Let's read some book. So she started treating that as a special time together. And because of COVID time, also it didn't make sense to start some online school. So it was purely like free flowing. We traveled a lot. We went to Thailand. She learned different cultures. She met a lot of people. And at some point when we came back to Gurgaon, she was about seven and a half. Never schooled, never touched any school subject. But she's very social. Again, it's different. Some kids are less. And maybe kids that can continue homeschooling quite long because they prefer to stay quiet, alone. They are better this way. My daughter loves friends. So when we decided to select a school, we selected IB, experiential learning. Experiential means project-based, when they really, they learn math by counting steps in school. Like, it's really cool. And that was our selection at Heritage International. I school because it also gives a lot of freedom, interesting approach to learning, no homeworks, none of this textbooks that I also had in Russia, like memorize page 1, 2, 3, and next day we forget about it, whatever we memorized, right? So that is effective. I think structure of schooling is changing. I'm very glad to see very, very different approach to schooling, at least in experiential system. Karan, every kid is different. And I'm doing sometimes astrology consultations for parents, and I see how every parent who comes with their kid to me, not happy about what they got. They got outspoken kid. They're asking, Kat, how can we make him speak less? He speaks too much. Teachers complain. He's too much in front of everybody else. Then exactly the same day, next parent is coming. My child is too quiet, always hiding behind. How can we push him to express himself more? You realize, right? It's like every parent got some gift, and they refuse to see the gift. They want to fix something that is different about their child. So that, I think, is the biggest, what we can do best as parents, to see who decided to become your child, whose soul selected you as a parent, and why. And what is wonderful about this little human, not to, change it like Play-Doh, reshape it into something what you think is right, who you are to think. You are not God, right? You're not, you're just a caregiver for a wonderful little human.
Absolutely, this is life-changing advice for people that are listening, because it completely changes the way they see their children, right? They aren't suddenly looking at comparing their kids with other kids. They're seeing it as an individual and helping them grow and bases their unique strengths. Because when you mentioned how their weaknesses are being made worked on, and then they come to an average level and their strengths are not being focused on, so again they are average, and all these kids are becoming replicas of each other. They are all similar, so they're losing what makes them special, and that is why parents, especially outside of school, need to put in more efforts to encourage what is special about their own kid.
Yes, Karan, and remember we started this conversation why people are so scared to, take some risk, change something in their life because of that. Because from the beginning, parents told them what is not so good about them, rejected their greatness, right? And now what you got? You got a scared person who is making mistakes. All this comes to this topic of limiting beliefs. Parents have a lot of limiting beliefs. They want their children to be successful and happy, but the recipe for the success allow him to be who he is. Then more successful, happiest person. No, but somebody said IT has a scope, or marketing or finance has a scope. He has nothing to do with finance. He wants to play flute. So limiting belief from society that you have to make him good with math and put him to finance, and that will make him successful. It will create one more depressed, disappointed person full of regrets.
Absolutely, this is so right, and it's so important that this message is given out. And you know, uh, parenting is something that people don't realize that is they've learned it from their own parents, and then now they're applying the same principles to their own kids. But you have to actively realize what is the good that I learned from my parents and what is the bad that I took from them, and I need to unlearn it and not pass it on, because I realize that fear is being passed across generations. That fear mentality. So at least someone in the generation has to break out, unlearn it, and change it for the upcoming generation. So you're so right in pointing that out. I think you also have what makes your profile so interesting is that you have seen two cultures very closely, Russian culture and the Indian culture. Because you have that unique perspective, can you tell us how fundamentally the two cultures are different from each other, how people function differently?
Three cultures, because I was in America for almost 15 years, right? I my master's in Russia. I went to Canada first to do my second master. Actually, I wanted PhD, but it's a long story. I decided enough. Oh, I finished second master in Canada. Then I went to Wharton Business School. Then I was in New York almost for 10 years before I got married to Indian. And that's after I decided to move back to India. But essentially, I think Russia and India, they are more close. A lot of traditions, a lot of respect to elders, you can say. More like a group kind of culture. Western, of course, I am by myself. Thank you very much. I'm all by myself. So I think lots of pros and cons everywhere. The problem starts when you want to pick up pro from this culture, from West. For example, I'm very independent woman. Thank you very much. Yes, but I also take something great from India. I live in joint family in the house who belongs to my father-in-law, who is paying my bills. I never work a single day of my life, but I want to be independent woman. Don't tell me what to do. I'm going to go out with my girlfriends. So decide which one you are. If you want to be independent woman, then go make your own money, pay your own bills. Thank you very much, right? Then of course everybody will respect your opinion. My clients complain to me, nobody respects me. Nobody is listening to me. And if she wants to be respected, then show to people that you are not a baby, that they can trust your decisions. So the culture is everything is wonderful, but you cannot have your cake and eat it. You cannot have all good things from everything.
Absolutely, yeah. Choose a side, and you can't play both the cards.
No, Russians and Indians, they like songs, movies, some brightness of life. So that I feel, that's why India feels like home. And that's why we decided to settle here.
The collectivistic cultures, like you said, a drawback of individualistic culture that I feel is slowly, because of social media as well as seeping into India, is because America is seen as this superpower, and everyone aspires to be like Americans, which is in a way unfortunate because we have our own strengths as well that we need to embrace. But what people are doing is that instead of actually meeting other people, actually being social, we are on social media, and everyone's starting to feel a sense of loneliness, especially after Corona and COVID. While loneliness, I can understand, is something that we need to work on, people are very afraid of just spending time alone. Just going
Right.
for a walk alone, or just eating a meal by yourself really scares people. But what I have understood is that when you spend time alone, you also are free. You're not being judged by anyone. You can do exactly what you want, and you can also spend time with your own self, thinking and growing. What is your advice to people who are scared of just being alone?
Get to know yourself better. Spend time with yourself. This is most important person in your life. You, yourself. Get to know this guy or this girl. Like we said about shadow side, we said about your triggers, your fears. Get to know this. I think because like this is something to fall in love with, right? And this person always going to be with you. And this time alone, when you get to know yourself, that's when the best ideas are coming, right? When you can hear this voice of your intuition, of your soul, that's where the best projects are coming from. I got some best trainings that I'm running. They came to me like in the shower or when I'm walking by myself alone, no noise, less noise. Then there's a chance for your soul to push some idea into you, like intuition. And you're like, from where I got this? I don't know. Just came to me. Seriously, I don't know. I was in the shower. Okay. So that quiet moments is when noise is less, when you have connection with yourself, your higher self, actually, your higher self.
That's so important for people to start doing, because once they allow themselves to have a few alone moments, they start to realize, oh, this is actually fun. I can have fun by myself as well. It's not, as scary as it looks from the outside. So if they just give that push, I think life can change for them. The last topic that
Also, this is time when you recharge your battery better. I know there's some extroverts and introverts, but here it comes some passive kind of time when you don't do too much, when you don't give too much to people, when you take sunshine, nature, meditation, some great book, so you absorb a little bit more and you recharge this battery, so you have more energy to give. Then you step into people, trainings, work, and everybody feels that. They say, God, you have so much energy. From where is it coming from? From there, from my quiet moments. So if somebody needs some motivation, you're not just sitting there bored. You are charging, you're connecting with some source of energy and ideas, and that makes you bigger. That people will say, wow, like, how come you're so energetic from there?
you yourself also need to give yourself time, and the people around you, your partner, your family, also needs to sometimes allow each other space to recharge and come back and make the relationship better. So that's so important. Kat, you spoke about reading, and I am an avid reader, and I would love to know some book recommendations that you have for me and for the audience that have really helped you in life.
I love to go into some really difficult books from 200, 300 years ago. I think whatever best things that been said, explored, that goes to different philosophies, starting from Greek philosophy, Plato, Socrates, basic thing like Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Remember that book, Meditation? That is very easy. Actually, this is very easy to read because it's like snippets. One, two, three. You can open this book on any page, and it's like wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. So I'm not the biggest fan of modern kind of self-help books. No, forgive me for that, but I think better to go to the source. Like, so, so this book is always with me. It's called Master Key, the Master Key System, and nobody knows about it, right? Everybody knows this book, Secret. Law of attraction. What is that? It's more modern take on something that's been described long time ago. Described as such, whatever is inside you will show outside. So you better work here and everything else will adjust. Okay, very simple. Book is a little bit difficult to read, but fantastic again. You open it like at any page and you just read. So why would I go to something simple like The Secret, if I follow the source? So that's one book recommendation from me.
Brilliant insight, because it's not just this one book, right? You've reminded people to go and find the real source of everything, because now we are possibly reading Ryan Holiday for stoicism, but we'd rather read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. So that's such a brilliant insight. The last topic that I really wanted to get into with you, and I was quite excited also to discuss this with you, was astrology. And from the outside, it's always fascinated me, but someone who's never experienced a session of astrology would always be skeptical, right? So can you take me and the viewers through what astrology is like? How can stars really predict our future, and in what way have you tried it on your clients, and how does it really help in life?
I see. Yeah, for somehow people always take astrology as some prediction. Main part of astrology, modern astrology, it is the map of your personality. Okay, and much better map than some horoscope. Don't read horoscopes. You are not Leo, you are not Cancer, right? You have 10 planets. All the 10 planets interact with each other. And we got this map. Now, what are we going to do with this map? That's the same what we discussed. People don't know their qualities. The same quality from the same map can be used as a source of anxiety or can become your greatest talent. So the chart itself does not describe this person is lucky or unlucky, successful or not successful. Charts of the most successful people, of Elon Musk and Bill Gates, right? They're like full of stress, tension, but these people take this tension and do something that is releasing tension and bring them success. So many intuitive people might know it without astrology, but why not have a map if you can, right? People can live at different floor of the chart. Chart can be taken as very basic kind of qualities, and people can move higher and higher. It's your personal choice. It's your free will. How much you want to discover, how many of your talents you want to use. So the biggest value that I can give to my clients is not to tell them, in September, you're going to get married. In October, you're going to buy a car. I'm not doing such things. I'm going to tell you, Karan, look, this is your talent here. Do you recognize it? Because people sometimes don't recognize their own talents. And you might say, oh, that's why I'm so good in this. Okay, I will be more mindful about it. I will use it. Okay. Then I say, here might be some source of stress for you, some source of anxiety or fear. You say, yeah, it's bothering me. You just need to channel this into a little bit different direction. And that's how, with some different habits, different lifestyle, different perception, you, in one session, you can transfer your fear into some extra talent. And the more stress you have in your chart, the higher is your potential, the bigger your talents are. That is very exciting, especially again with children or grown-ups as well. They don't know themselves very well. Prediction comes in such a way that if person is completely asleep, then of course some movement of the stars will push them to left or right because they're asleep. They're not in charge of their life. The more mindful person becomes, this prediction works in a very different way. So I can still predict some waves, probability. You are more likely to feel this. You are more likely to get excited about this. And mindful person will take it and use it for his advantage, not as some risk. But you have turbulent time right now. Mindful, successful person will say, great, it's exactly the time to start some new business. I always wanted to try some new project. Okay, thanks, Katerina, thanks. If person is asleep and I say turbulent time is coming, like, shit, why did you tell me? I'm so scared now, right? So I don't say it, of course. But modern astrology really believes in free will. Free will, right? It's your choice. Ultimate choice is up to you. What are you going to do tomorrow when you wake up? Astrology cannot predict it. Astrology can say what you are super great in, where you should do a bit more work, or where you should drop some social beliefs and allow yourself to be yourself. And that will be better for your fear, for your anxiety. And the future will be exactly how you want it to be.
Yeah, no, thank you for busting some myths that most people have about astrology. And it's sounding to me like a tool that can really help us level up in life. It's just guidance that it gives you. So thank you, Kat. And, not just astrology, I think you've played a similar role today by helping us with so many issues and giving us such great insights. Thank you so much for taking the time. Would you have any parting words?
I don't know, I think it's great. And I just wanted to say that's what I do for work or for fun. And for me, it's all together. My work is my fun, it's my life. I enjoy breaking beliefs, breaking rules, breaking the stereotypes. And I feel there is so much power in this. When in short conversation with client or friend, you can break a couple of points and person saying, really, yeah, I never thought about, oh, and life gets to different level, to next level of the game. And that's what I'm planning to do for the rest of my life. I'm sure when I'm 120 years old, I will do exactly the same. Probably I'm going to be much better than right now without money. So I'm not planning to retire to our point. It's like I wish everybody who is watching this to find that. What is that? What do you love to do so much that you are going to do it when you're 120 years old? Because astrology believes that our chart has enough capacity to at least 120. And when we start before that, it's somewhere we go against our heart.
Oh, wow. It's very interesting. Yeah. No, but more power to you. And I'm so happy that you're not choosing to retire because the world definitely needs you. And to my audience as well, if any of you are looking for any sort of guidance, please reach out to Kat. I will be sharing the website link in the description box below and also her Instagram. Please check that out. And thank you once again, Kat, for doing this. It was such a pleasure and you've left me inspired. Thank you.
Thank you, Karan. Super interesting questions, great topics. Thank you for inviting me.
To our audience, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you found value in it, don't forget to share this with your friends and family. I'm sure it will help them a lot too. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, comment below who our next guest should be, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. I'll see you very soon in another episode. Lots of love. Bye.